Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and I am here today to review a Gordon Ramsay show. I was on Tubi and I didn't find anything that I really wanted to watch, and so I saw they recommended me this Gordon Ramsay show called 24 Hours to Hell and Back, starring Chef Gordon. I was really interested to see this show. I was like, okay, I want to see what is he doing. I know that he spread himself very thin now, which I think is really terrible because, I will say in terms of what I do, I am currently making two movies at the same time. And I'm doing that because it's really fun to kind of bounce back and forth, do one movie 1 month, do the other movie the other month. It makes things a lot more exciting, and I think that it makes things less boring. But I would not want to do 6 movies at once. 7 movies at once, 8 movies at once. And that's like what Gordon is doing. And I think that it's a mistake. I think that he's treating TV shows like restaurants where, it's like, obviously, if you're a restaurateur, you can open up like all these restaurants all over the world, like 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50, all the way to 100, as many as you want. But when it comes to TV shows, should you really be doing all these shows where you're the head of the show and it's all about you as the personality on the show? I don't think so. I think it's terrible, and I think it's led to a lack of quality in these shows. And also, it's kind of made them feel less special. At the same time, I will say that he has managed to accomplish what other TV shows do not accomplish anymore. And that is the special feeling that you get when you know that a certain time of year is dedicated to a certain show. And what I mean by that is in the fall, you know that it's Hell's Kitchen time. In the summer, you know it's Master Chef time. And there's just something really nice about that you can look forward to these different times of the year, and you can associate them with the show that you're excited to see come out. This show, however, wow, let's just say I was not very impressed by this show. The whole concept is that Gordon goes to a restaurant. He disguises himself, which in theory sounds like a good idea. But the disguises that he has are terrible. And I know that they say that disguises are better when they're simple. But at the same time, it's maybe if you have $0 of a budget. But these disguises are abysmal. And they are just so bad. And they're really it's goofy. It's really, really goofy. One of the things that I like about Hell's Kitchen is seeing Gordon taste the food. Because these fucking idiots at these restaurants, they don't serve Gordon good food, and serve everyone else shit. No, they still serve Gordon shit, and they think that it's good. And that's one of the problems with these places is that, they see oh, Gordon's here, and they just give him lasagna out of a microwave and say it's fresh. I saw that in one of the videos on YouTube. But he tastes the food, and gone is all of the fun and excitement of seeing Gordon tasting it and hearing him out loud. He's got to be quiet because they'll know that he's Chef Gordon if his accent is too loud. And then he's like, okay, I've had enough. And then he comes out. He comes out to the whole restaurant and he says, everyone, put your forks down. And every single person in the restaurant has to put their eating utensils down. And another thing is the fact that there's a camera crew there as well, filming Gordon eating the food. And another thing I forgot to mention is that this whole gimmick that he only has 24 hours to fix a restaurant, that's the gimmick of the show. But the whole gimmick is kind of falsely advertised because he used a lot more than 24 hours to fix these restaurants, because he starts off every episode by saying, I put up surveillance cameras in these restaurants and we monitored them for 2 entire weeks. That means that he spent a lot more than 24 hours on these restaurants. You know what I mean? And so that whole gimmick is just, it's stupid as shit. And we'll talk more about that. But like, he tells everyone in the restaurant to come outside and look at this gross footage. And the footage itself is boring because it's just kind of like a compilation video that they're watching. It doesn't really feel as intense and funny and good as when Gordon goes all around and just discovers things himself. But he does do a little bit of that afterwards. And basically, he promises all these customers that he will pay for their meals that they didn't get to finish, because he told them, put your forks down, no more eating. Like, that was hilarious. That was so weird. Like, that was one of the weirdest things about this show. And I'm curious to see season 2, because that was like the weirdest component of this show. It's like, okay, everyone, put all your eating utensils down. I am Chef Gordon, and you do what I say. And there's a lot of like cultism about Chef Gordon in this show. Like, in one of the seasons, they made this poster that looks like a religious, like, stained glass window, and it says Dine Intervention with Gordon on the cover. And I think, like, this show is kind of culty. It has a culty feel to it. And anyways, each episode he basically does the same things over and over again. So it gets very repetitive, and it is not very entertaining at all. It's kind of like Hell's Kitchen Light or Hell's Kitchen Junior, which that sounds pretty hilarious. Or not Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmares Junior. I was going to say, like, Hell's Kitchen Junior, what are we running, like a sweatshop? Child labor and shit? No, I've just been having allergy issues again, guys. It's that time of year again. And last year, I had these certain symptoms, and this year, I've had completely different symptoms. So, it's just been, like, really bizarre, because it's like, you know, you got to adapt each year to, like, different things that happen. And I still think it's because of this shitty room, though. And I guarantee this year I'm going to be going on vacation again in July to that Pennsylvania convention. And I guarantee when I go there, for some reason, all my sinus problems are going to go away. But, like, yeah, if you're wondering why I sound like this, it's because of sinus problems. Anyways, let's see. So he does all the same old things, which is he has a personal, like, intervention with the manager, the boss. He has a personal intervention with the head cook. He might have a personal intervention with the waitress or the waiter. And this is something interesting too. He has this cooking team, which includes chefs like Christina from Hell's Kitchen. They teach the chefs of the restaurants to cook this entire new menu in 24 hours. And I gotta be honest, like, this whole 24 hours gimmick is horrible. It's horrible on a multitude of reasons. Number one, why is it, logically, reasonably, why is it that these restaurants have to be saved in 24 hours? Why? There's no reason. You know the real reason, though? Ratings. A gimmick. Oh, look, this is a TV show where Gordon fixes places in 24 hours. There's no other reason. So it's horrible just to see these people who are in these terrible situations, and they're so stressed out. and it's a terrible. It looks terrible. It looks awful. Like, I could not imagine. Like, I don't care if it's Gordon Ramsay. 24 hours just rushing to completely change your restaurant sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like a kitchen nightmare, pun intended. Another thing that they do is that they completely remodel the entire restaurant. And there was only one time the whole season where it seemed like, or two times where it seemed like the restaurants did not like the remodel. So I will say he did a pretty good job with that, I guess. I mean, there was one that I thought looked ugly as hell. It was one, I think, let's see, which one was it? It might have been episode 3. It was really bad. No, I don't think it was that one, because that was probably the best episode. Or, yeah, I don't know. And then in 24 hours, the clock runs out, and they get all the customers back, and they see, has the restaurant changed? Can they make it? And then they usually just have a couple of problems, and then boom, Gordon says, "Okay, guys, bye-bye. I can't stay any longer because this is the gimmick for this show that I'm doing that you can watch on this channel to make me more money. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching." Another thing that he does in this show, which I found very, very creepy, was that there's all these people and they wear these special t-shirts that say Team Ramsay. I don't know why that is. I would say that it's because, like, you need to be able to, the audience needs to be able to tell the difference between Gordon's team and the restaurant's team. But I swear I saw, like, people who worked at the restaurant wear these shirts. So I felt like it was very culty. Like, it felt something like you would do in a cult, like wear a shirt. Like, I would never ask actors who acted in my movies to wear shirts that said Team Marco or Team Carlson. You know, I would never do that. Like, it's just really weird. You know, like, it's just, there gets to be a certain level of promotion that is just too cringeworthy to pursue. And I think that Chef Gordon has long gone past that line. You know, he is in full cringe territory. He is cringe lord Chef Gordon, and he knows it too, which is why he's starting to step back. I think he's starting to play the role of, like, the wise older guy rather than, like, the loud, obnoxious. But in this show, he's still playing that same character. And so let's talk about some of the other funny things that happened. There was this one episode where he asked the owner, and this was also something else. He would say for the owner to fire a bad employee. And I had never seen Gordon do that before. But there was this one really funny part where he asked the owner, why do you still hire this woman? Is there a feel sorry reason or something? And I was like, what did he just say there? Like a feel sorry? And then I played it back and he says, is there a feel sorry reason? I thought, that is the weirdest shit I have ever heard. Like, what does that mean? Like, it's so weird. That was really bizarre. Another thing that I noticed in the show, and I don't think that he does this in all his shows, so I have to wonder if he even writes his own show scripts, because I really think that the amount of times that Gordon said the word but in this show, B-U-T, he says but over and over and over and over again. And once you notice that he says but over and over and over again, you literally cannot stop thinking about that the rest of the season. Like, he's like, okay, we have got to get going, but if we don't get going, it is not going to work. Okay, I need to talk to you, but we're going to need to talk alone. And then they get in the room. Okay, I know, tell me about your family's stuff, problems. Okay, that's really tragic, but you're going to have to step up now. Like, that's what he would do in the show. And I was like, why is he doing that? Like, it is so annoying and weird. And, like, how could you not be self-conscious? Like, and he really emphasizes it, too. Like, okay, I am here to help you, but if you don't let me help you, you're fucked. Okay, let's move on. But first, I'm going to have to say this. It's like, God, it's maybe it's just one of those things that's irritating to me, but like it. Oh, and I just said it too, but like, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like if you took a shot every time Gordon said "but" in the show, you would die. Also, I gotta say, one of the biggest problems I have with this, besides the fact that it felt very exploitative, the fact that, like, oh, I'm gonna come here and help you, it's only 24 hours that I get to help you, so screw you if you still can't make it. But the thing that I really can't believe is, in a lot of these episodes, people will make these unbelievable character transformations. And they are literally overnight, too. So an owner will go from being a complete biatch to being like, oh, I'm just trying to help. Oh, I'm nice. I'm grown up now. In the first episode, the head of the restaurant, he's like a literal man baby. He's like, he's like a fucking Scorsese character who owns a restaurant, like, an annoying Scorsese character that would get killed, that would get, what do they call it, like, iced, waxed, whatever, offed, I can't remember, I can't remember, like, the number one, like, term that they use, but you know what I mean. And, just overnight, like, he sees, like, a video of his daughter crying, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm such a baby. I can't do it. My daddy can't help me anymore. Yeah. And Gordon's like, dude, you just got to grow the fuck up, dude. You got to grow up. And he's like, I don't know what you mean. And then a couple of seconds later, all of a sudden he grew up. And he acted calm and reasonable the rest of the episode. And it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, we all know how that story goes. As soon as Gordon left and the cameras left, he was like screaming at the top of his lungs at his staff and his family again. Like that's what I'm saying, is that, like, a lot of the stuff was very unbelievable. Like, very unbelievable, very fake, phony, Americanized reality show. So yeah, only 3 out of 8 restaurants featured on this one season are still open today. And surprisingly, it was 3 restaurants that I really wouldn't have thought would still be open. Like, the ones that I thought still would be open, they're closed. They're completely closed. I would say the biggest disappointment was episode 3, which was the Brownstone Bistro, like a New Orleans breakfast place. That one was really, really upsetting because the owner's son had been killed in random gun violence on the street, and it really affected the whole restaurant, the owner, and everything. And it really felt like Gordon helped that place get back on its feet. And it really felt like I would love to go there. Like, that seems like it would be a great place to eat. And the food, too. Gordon did come in with some fire-looking recipes and some really good-looking dishes. And that one in particular. But no, that place is closed down. Now, here's the really screwed up thing. The owner of the Brownstone Bistro, he is currently, I believe, or at least a couple of years ago, he became homeless because of a natural disaster took his home. And so that it's just terrible. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And so when I started watching this show, I would look up before the episode, is this place still open? And to be honest, it was a really unpleasant experience to watch these episodes knowing that these places would get shut down, because it's almost like watching a horror movie or watching like a really depressing like drama, and it really, really upset me. And it was kind of hard to watch, to be honest. And then there's one that I want to check, though. There were two places that completely changed back after Gordon left. And one of them, they didn't even send like an update video or anything. Okay, La Serenata. That place is still fucking open. This place, it's really sad because Gordon, like, it really felt like he helped them out. There was some family issues there. It was another thing where they dealt with a death in the family. But ironically, this guy who's in charge named Marco, he was really, really kind of evil and mean and rude. And apparently, he reverted back to being that way as soon as Gordon left, because the grandson did the update video. And also they changed back to the old menu, and I thought, it's terrible. Like, that was one of the ones where, again, I felt like Gordon made a lot of progress there, and why did they revert back? It's so strange and weird. But anyways, that was weird. Let's see if there's anything else to talk about. The one in the finale, that was another instance where it was really unbelievable. They had this really mean woman boss, owner, and she was like really, really mean and rude to her staff and to customers. And you could tell that she made a very disingenuous transformation. And then her daughter was the head waitress, and she was a bitch too. And after Gordon left, they not only went back to the old menu, but they refused to send Chef Gordon an update video. So after he came there and helped them all that he helped them, they said, fuck you. And guess what? Sandra D's is closed. So that's the name of the restaurant, by the way. Another one that was really upsetting was the second episode. It was this restaurant where you had this guy and his wife cheated on him and got pregnant with another guy. And so he had to become a single father of two all by himself. Very, very modern feminazi type of story. Typical thing that happens nowadays. And that was another one where I felt like, Gordon really helped that guy out. And it was kind of nice because that was one of the few genuine transformations that I felt like I saw. Like the guy who owned that place, it felt like Gordon showed him how to get his voice and how to take charge, kind of, as much as he could. And I was really hopeful for that place too, but it's another one that was closed forever. So I guess like the moral of the story is, don't make a reality TV show for the reason of a gimmick, like to save these restaurants in 24 hours. It's a stupid idea. There's literally no interesting drama or comedy that comes from the time limit. Like, if anything, it just kind of feels like a hindrance to the show, because it feels like since there's so little time, we can't really do the kitchen nightmares thing and make it as funny, as effective, and as effective that it would have been if not for the time limit. In terms of food, I would just give this season a mini frozen pizza with only cheese. Ow! I just stubbed my thumb. That was random. But it feels like someone placing creative constraints on themselves for no reason. Or maybe it feels like Gordon's showing off, because Gordon, I don't know if he came up with the show, but like to say like, oh, I can save a restaurant in 24 hours. It's like, fuck off. Just save the restaurant. Just help these people. Like, don't make this into being all about you. And don't make this into being like a gimmick and being something that it really, really upset me watching this show. And so I'm curious to see in season 2, did he improve, or because there's only 3 seasons and it was never officially canceled. So, he probably just took a break because he was like, no, actually, this doesn't work at all. Maybe he'll never actually say that the show is canceled too, because that would be like admitting defeat or something. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Please like this video and comment. Tell me what you thought of Gordon Ramsay's 24 Hours to Hell and Back. I hated it. And it's too bad because I would have loved to have gone to some of these restaurants. The worst episode of the season was this restaurant where the owners were literally called the Nimrods. And the episode was just so forgettable. And he just does the same things every single episode. And it's not entertaining at all because of the time limit. And that episode was so bad that I literally can't remember anything about it. It was so boring. They are one of the few restaurants that are still open, though. That's like the puzzling thing. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more fun reviews like this, and honest reviews too. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.